Hey everybody, Rhymador here, and welcome back to another bass lesson. Today we're going to go over a lot of funky things, some technique stuff, some transposing, some just funky grooves in general. And if you want to get tab notation, anything like that for this bass line, head over to my Patreon page. You can support there and get all the fun things. But in the meantime, we're going to talk a little bit about playing that funky music. This is a bass line that, clearly if you're going to be playing in a wedding band or jam band, anything like that, this is a really common tune to have to your repertoire, but it also includes a lot of cool musical things. From a technique standpoint, it makes us focus on, controlling our open string, dealing with some hammer-ons, and then also kind of moving from one key to another. So I've kind of created an exercise around this bass line that will help us, get comfortable taking bass lines and moving them into different positions. So the main groove that we're going to go over for this is going to be basically the play that funky music groove, where we're going to start in the key of E, and we're going to just enjoy our open E string. What a good time. It's a great place to be. For us bass players, it's kind of like very comfy, warm bed to climb into, just the nice open E string. And we're going to orient ourselves in the key. Now, with this song, we want to think kind of like E minor-y, and we're mostly going to be using scale degree 1 and the octave up here on the 7th fret. And then I'm going to be using the 4th and the 5th, which is A to B, and then the flat 7 to the octave, which is going to be D to E. So you can see that I can use my open E string, my 7th fret E, and if I kind of just focus on using my index finger and my pinky, I can kind of just play to this box shape here. This is also known as like the blues box. Where I'm really not having to use even my 4-fret span. I can kind of take a nice, more contracted position with my 3-fret span using my rock and roll fingers, index and pinky, and playing between those notes. Now, the key to this bass line is really kind of the rhythmic articulation, where we want to have a nice, punchy, short note as our open E, flat 7 to octave, and then we want to kind of use a dead note where I'm kind of very quickly playing my open E, but then I'm going right to the A to the B. So we've got a little hammer on there. So I'm playing my open E, the A to the B, and as I slow it down and play it this way, it's not really the thing. For this move to work, you have to be able to play it a little bit faster. The reason why the open string hammer-on works is because the tempo makes it so that we don't really hear the open E, we just kind of hear the dead note version of it, and then we play right into the A to B hammer-on. Hear how it goes, ba-doo-doo. That's what we want from that part. And then I'm going to hammer on the D to the E, or the flat 7 to the octave again. So we've got root note, the D to the E at first, and then we have our open E with the little hammer on, A to B, and then the D to E hammer on. So again, if you want to think about playing this bass line, don't slow it down too much. You need to have some speed in order to, get the feel right, get the hammer on right. And if you play it too slow, it's just not going to vibe. That's what we want to aspire to. So once you get comfortable with that, make sure you get it up to tempo as much as possible, and then we're going to talk about moving it. So let's just play through it a couple times first. There it is. So now that you've got that under your fingers, we're going to take this up to G, which if you're playing this song, you will be taking this up to G, and we're going to go chromatically from E to G. So a great way to do that is know that we can go from our E, F, F sharp, land on G. So the whole move is basically going to be taking this bass line from playing it in E to moving it up to G using this chromatic move. And then we're going to find that bass line in G. So we're going to be playing it in E. And then we're going to move it up to G. Now, when we go up to the G, we want to think about playing our open E, F, F sharp G, we're going to do again that scale degree flat 7 to octave. So in this case, that's going to be F to G up here. So I'm kind of now using my rock and roll fingers again, but going between my 3rd fret and my 5th fret. So here's my G. Here's that flat 7 or the F to G. I'm going to be able to use my open string hammer-on, but now it'll be on the A string, and the hammer-on will be between C to D, and then the other hammer-on between F and G. So again, you can kind of hear how I'm playing the open string A and then doing the hammer-on C to D. And again, if we play this too slow, it's not going to work, right? You can't slow it down too much because we do want that open A string to not really ring out at all. We want it to function as a dead note. And then we're going to take the same part up again to the key of B flat. Now, you may have noticed that we're basically moving in minor thirds here. We're starting on E, we're taking it up to G, and then we're taking it up another minor third to B flat. And when we get to B flat, you know, we're going to play the same thing, only this time we're going to be playing between the 6th and 8th fret with, again, the same positioning. And there's that bass part. Now, to make this like kind of a fun exercise, I like to kind of take it all the way up and then all the way back, just for fun, just to get my fretboard awareness going. So again, this is kind of like a little bit different from just playing the song, but playing this as an exercise so that you can get the technique down really well. And I'm going to take myself up to B flat, and then I'm going to go chromatically down to G, and then finally chromatically down to E. So it's kind of this fun sequence of moving in minor thirds, playing the same bass line, and then moving back down the same way. So we're kind of going E to G to B flat, then back down to G, and finally back down to E. So it's kind of a really cool sequence to play through. And as we do this, you know, a big part of it is working that chromatic move in. You know, it's kind of fun to be able to play chromatically between chords because it lets us bring that voice leading, that dissonance to our next destination point. And that's a really fun musical thing to kind of throw in. So if we were to play this whole sequence, we're going to start in E, play the bass line 4 times, take it up to G, play it there, take it up to B flat, and then take it back down. So you'll see the whole thing like this. And there it is. That's that whole part. So this is a really good exercise for just, you know, learning how to transpose different bass lines, use a 3-fret span, using that kind of blues box shape, and then also throwing in chromatic motion. So you'll see that the more you get used to it, the more you'll realize how to shift. But as I'm doing that chromatic shift, I like to go like that, where I'm basically playing my open E, using my index finger, my middle finger, and then shifting and then establishing a new position where I kind of scooch from my middle finger to my index finger as I go from that chromatic line E, F, F sharp, G. And now I'm in a new position. Same thing as I move it up to the B flat. I know I'm starting this chromatic move with my index finger. It's easy to move with my pinky, and then I'm going to jump to get the rest of that line by setting my index finger and my pinky in that 6th fret to 8th fret zone. So a lot of this thing is learning how to shift positions and take advantage of that chromatic movement and reestablish yourself in that new place by kind of thinking, hey, we're using these two fingers, our index and our pinky. What's the best way to make those moves, make those jumps? So again, have fun with this. Get this under your fingers. Know that it's a great exercise and it's also a wonderful bass line to add to your repertoire. So I hope you dug this. Again, head over to my Patreon page to get tab, notation, backing tracks, all the goodness. And happy practicing, everybody. Keep it groovy.